Incredibly sad news. Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke has died.
We now know the cause of death of former NBA player Brandon Clarke.
The answer has finally arrived. 3 months of silence, 3 months of speculation, of rumors, of heartbroken teammates posting blue hearts on Instagram without really knowing the full truth.
Brandon Clarke, a beloved member of the Memphis Grizzlies since 2019, whose leadership and passion earned him respect throughout the Memphis community.
And on August 7th, 2026, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner ended the mystery for good. Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke died from the effects of heroin and cocaine, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's office announced. The office deemed the drugs to be the official cause of Clarke's death.
The LA County Medical Examiner's office announced that he died from the effects of heroin and cocaine,
which it ruled an accident. 29 years old, 7 seasons, an entire career in Memphis, gone. But to understand what really happened, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Let's get into it. The kid nobody wanted, Brandon Clarke, was born on September 19, 1996 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. His father was Jamaican, his mother Canadian. His family moved to Phoenix when he was 3, and that's where the story truly starts, in the Arizona desert, at Desert Vista High School, where a kid who could jump out of the gym was somehow invisible to every major college program in the country. Think about that for a second. This guy averaged 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks per game in high school. He recorded 10 triple-doubles in a single season. He won a state championship, and not one powerhouse program, not Duke, not Kentucky, not Kansas, came calling. Not one. The result? Clarke spent 2 years playing college basketball at San Jose State in California. San Jose State, a school that hadn't produced meaningful NBA talent in over 2 decades. They almost asked him to walk on as a regular student first. But here is where the Brandon Clarke story gets interesting. He was too good to stay hidden. 2 seasons at San Jose State, strong performances, steadily growing numbers.
3-point attempt off the front of the rim, and here is Clarke getting creative with the basketball.
Then, in 2017, he made the decision that would change everything. He transferred to Gonzaga. NCAA rules forced him to sit out a full year, a year without games, without highlights, without anyone watching. Most players wither in that silence. Brandon Clarke used it. He stored every bit of that energy. When he finally stepped on the floor for the Bulldogs in 2018, it was like he had been waiting his whole life for that moment. In his lone season at Gonzaga, he averaged 16.9 points, 8.6 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 3.16 blocks in 28.1 minutes. He led the nation in field goal percentage at 68.7% and total blocks with 117. He was the WCC Defensive Player of the Year. He was the WCC Newcomer of the Year in 1 season, and then came March Madness. In the second round against Baylor, Clarke dropped 36 points, setting the Gonzaga NCAA tournament single-game scoring record. From the kid nobody wanted to one of the most dominant players in the country, the NBA was about to come knocking. The draft night trade nobody saw coming. Clarke was selected by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round of the 2019 NBA draft with the 21st overall pick, and then immediately traded to the Grizzlies.
21st pick in the 2019 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Brandon Clarke.
Memphis sent over Darius Bazley and a future second-round pick. The Thunder got a prospect. Memphis got a player. There is a difference. And Brandon Clarke wasted exactly 0 time proving it. He arrived in Memphis the same summer as Ja Morant and wasted no time announcing himself. 4 double-doubles at Summer League, MVP of both the tournament and the championship game.
NBA Summer League Championship Game MVP trophy to Brandon Clarke.
The first player in Summer League history to win both in the same year. That is not a typo. The first player ever. In a summer league filled with hungry young talents trying to make rosters, Brandon Clarke was the best player on the floor every single night. His rookie season, even better. He earned NBA All-Rookie First Team honors in 2020 after averaging 12.1 points and 5.9 rebounds per game. He finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. His classmates, Ja Morant, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Herro, Zion Williamson. That is a murderer's row of rookies, and Clarke held his own against every single one of them. Over the next 2 seasons, Memphis built something rare, something electric. Ja Morant became a superstar. Jaren Jackson Jr. became a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and Brandon Clarke, he was the heartbeat. He was the guy who set the tone every night off the bench. the lob threat, the rim protector, the player who made the system click. He spent several seasons as one of the most important complementary pieces on a Grizzlies team that was becoming one of the most exciting young rosters in the league. He was a defensive anchor, an efficient scorer, the kind of player whose impact shows up in every column on the stat sheet and is felt even more outside of it. In October 2022, Memphis rewarded him. The Grizzlies gave him a 4-year, $52 million extension. The future looked bright, brighter than bright. And then March 3rd, 2023 happened. The injury that changed everything. March 3rd, 2023. Denver Nuggets versus Memphis Grizzlies. Top two teams in the Western Conference going at it. Clarke tore his left Achilles tendon that night in a loss to the Denver Nuggets. You know the image. Every basketball fan does. The player stops, grabs the back of his leg, looks down, and they know. You always know. Season over. Playoffs inactive.
Clarke went down grabbing the back of his left leg.
Memphis went on to face the Lakers in the first round without him. He came back the following year, but the body was not the same. Clarke missed more than a full calendar year with the torn Achilles, and knee and calf issues limited him to 2 games in the 2025-26 season. 2 games in a year where he was supposed to be making his full comeback, contributing to a playoff push, proving that his $52 million contract was still justified. He played 2 games. The last one, December 20th, 2025. He never played another. Clarke suffered a grade 2 right calf strain in the first quarter of the Grizzlies' home game against the Washington Wizards on December 20th, 2025. That was it. Surgery, rehab, inflammation, more surgery, more waiting. Injuries limited him to just 72 of a possible 246 games over the past 3 seasons. Think about that number. 72 games out of 246. He missed 2 out of every 3 games he should have played over the last 3 years of his life. And here is what nobody talks about when they discuss those numbers. The physical toll is only half of it. A professional athlete who cannot play his sport is a man without a purpose. The gym, the competition, the locker room, that is not just a job. That is an identity. And when the injuries stack up, when the surgeries keep coming, when you are sitting in a medical facility watching your teammates compete on television, the psychological weight of that is crushing. Brandon Clarke was living that reality, day after day, month after month. Nobody fully understood how heavy that weight had become. The high-speed chase. Nobody expected April 1st, 2026, April Fool's Day. But what happened that afternoon in Cross County, Arkansas was no joke. Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke was arrested in Arkansas on charges that included speeding and possession of a controlled substance.
Team forward Brandon Clarke has been arrested in Cross County, Arkansas. Clarke is charged with speeding, reckless driving, and possession of a controlled substance.
Here's how it went down. A white Corvette, brand new, supercharged, flying down the highway at over 100 miles per hour. A sheriff's deputy spotted it, gave chase, and eventually pulled the vehicle over after a miles-long pursuit. The driver was Brandon Clarke. Clarke was booked by the Cross County Sheriff's Office and faced charges of improper passing, possession of a controlled substance, fleeing in a vehicle or conveyance while exceeding the speed limit, and trafficking a controlled substance. The substance in question? Over 230 grams of kratom, an herbal extract derived from a tree native to Southeast Asia. Kratom is legal in Tennessee, where Clarke lived, but in Arkansas, it is a Schedule I controlled substance, equivalent to heroin under state law. Clarke was released the next afternoon. His agency, Priority Sports, put out a statement saying he expected to rejoin the Grizzlies for the following season. Clarke was under contract to be with the Grizzlies through the 2026-27 season. There was still hope. There was still time. Or so everyone thought. But here's the thing. Look at the picture now forming. A man in chronic pain from multiple surgeries. A man who had not played meaningful basketball in years. A man who was arrested with over 200 grams of a legal but powerful substance known for its opioid-like properties. A man driving 100 miles per hour on a Tuesday afternoon in a supercharged Corvette with an open court date hanging over his head. That is not the behavior of someone at peace. That is the behavior of someone who is drowning. May 11th, 2026. 41 days after the arrest. That is how long Brandon Clarke had between that Arkansas highway and the San Fernando Valley home where paramedics would respond to a 911 call. Clarke was found unresponsive in his bedroom at about 5 p.m. local time on May 11th, 2026. Responding paramedics pronounced him dead at 5:15 p.m. He was 29 years old. Emergency personnel who responded to the scene found drug paraphernalia in the home. The Memphis Grizzlies confirmed the death on May 12th. The NBA went into immediate mourning. It was one of the darkest single days in recent league memory because just hours earlier, former NBA center Jason Collins, the first openly gay active player in league history, had also died from brain cancer.
Former first-round pick Jason Collins has died after a battle with brain cancer.
The NBA lost two of its own within hours of each other. By the time the Inside the NBA crew took their seats on TNT that night, the grief was already written across their faces. Host Ernie Johnson opened by saying, "Man, Tuesday was a tough day for the NBA family. To the families of Brandon Clarke and Jason Collins, prayers from the heart for peace and comfort at this difficult time." And then Charles Barkley, who had lost his own younger brother Daryl in 2009 after years battling cocaine addiction, got personal. He looked into that camera and said, "Obviously, I'm very sensitive on the drug situation. Man, you guys gotta stay away from that stuff. I know that's easier said than done. It ain't a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. If you're out there experimenting with drugs, the story's gonna end badly. It ain't just about you, man. You've got a family out there." Barkley was talking to young players, but he was also talking from personal pain. You could hear it. The teammates who loved him. The tributes poured in immediately, and they were not the standard PR statements you get when a public figure dies. These were real, raw, personal. Ja Morant, his closest friend and longest-running Grizzly teammate, posted on his Instagram stories, "This hurt BC. Love you, broski. Gone way too soon." He added, "It's bigger than basketball. Bigger than basketball." From Ja Morant, a guy who rarely gets vulnerable publicly, those words hit different. Jalen Wells, one of the younger Grizzlies who had spent time alongside Clarke in his final season, wrote, "Everything he went through in the time I've been in Memphis, he still came in with a smile on his face and was a light in the locker room. Truly an inspiring person." And Kyle Anderson, his message was the rawest of all. He wrote, "I'm so hurt, man. Really, my dog, my Virgo twin. I love you so much, brother. I wish I could have been there for you." He couldn't even finish the sentence properly. That is what grief looks like in real time. Then came Jaren Jackson Jr., who had been traded from Memphis to the Utah Jazz earlier in 2026, but whose bond with Clarke clearly never faded. "You were so much to so many and even more to me. I will never have the words to describe what this feels like. I still can't believe this," Jackson wrote. Grizzlies star Ja Morant responded to Jaren's post with, "Love you, brother," accompanied by a blue heart and a bandaged heart emoji. That exchange, two guys who built something together in Memphis, grieving a brother they shared, told you everything you needed to know about who Brandon Clarke was to the people around him. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver called him a beloved teammate and leader who played the game with enormous passion and grit. The Grizzlies said, "We are heartbroken by the tragic loss of Brandon Clarke. Brandon was an outstanding teammate and an even better person whose impact on the organization and the greater Memphis community will not be forgotten." The truth, the medical examiner finally revealed. For nearly 3 months, the world waited. The cause of death was deferred. The autopsy was pending. The toxicology reports were in process. Theories circulated. Kratom overdose, fentanyl, a combination of pain medications. Everyone had a guess. Nobody had the answer. Then, on August 7th, 2026, the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner released its findings. And the answer was not kratom, not fentanyl, not a mystery compound from a gas station supplement aisle. Brandon Clarke died from the effects of heroin and cocaine. The office deemed the drugs to be the official cause of Clarke's death, which it ruled an accident. There is that word again. Accident, not suicide. An accident. A 29-year-old man in the middle of a storm of physical injury, psychological pain, legal trouble, and uncertainty about his future. And the medical examiner concluded that what happened was not intentional. That is an important distinction. But the report did not stop there. The office also listed the combined effects of multiple prescription medications as a significant condition contributing to his death, though it did not specify the medications in question. That is the part of this story that is going to keep people talking for years. Because what prescription medications does a professional basketball player have access to? The list is long. Anti-inflammatories, pain management drugs, post-surgical prescriptions, sleep aids, all of it legal, all of it prescribed by team physicians or personal doctors, and all of it potentially lethal in the wrong combination. A full autopsy report will be released at a later date and will include the names of those prescriptions. The full picture is still coming, but the headline is already here. Heroin and cocaine. An accident. 29 years old.
The LA County Medical Examiner's Office announced that he died from the effects of heroin and cocaine.
What the numbers cannot tell you, Clarke averaged 10.2 points and 5.5 rebounds over 309 games, all with the Grizzlies, finishing 4th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2019-20. Those are good numbers, solid numbers. But they do not tell you the story of a man who was, at various points in his young career, one of the most efficient players in the entire NBA. He shot above 57% from the field in his rookie year. He received 6th Man of the Year votes. He was considered a foundational piece of one of basketball's most exciting young teams. And then everything stopped. Surgery after surgery. Season after season diminished. Injuries limited him to just 72 of a possible 246 games over the final 3 seasons of his career, including only 2 in his last. His contract, the one that was supposed to represent everything he had worked for, became a clock ticking down on a career that was no longer being played. What does that do to a person? What does it feel like to be 28, 29 years old, watching teammates compete from a treatment table, knowing your contract is expiring, knowing your body keeps betraying you, knowing the phone calls from teams are gonna dry up? Nobody asks that question enough about professional athletes. They get the jersey and the paycheck, and suddenly the world assumes everything is fine. Clarke was the kind of teammate every locker room quietly relies on. Selfless, hard-nosed, and beloved. That is the tragedy buried inside the tragedy. He gave everything he had to a game that eventually left him stranded. And somewhere in that space between who he was on the court and who he was struggling to be off it, he reached for something that killed him. The kratom question that remains here is something the medical examiner's report notably did not address. The office did not indicate whether kratom was found in Clarke's body at the time of his death, and that is significant because when Clarke was arrested in Arkansas on April 1st, over 230 grams of kratom were found in his car.
Brandon Clarke, after what authorities describe as a high-speed chase in Arkansas, had more than 200 grams of kratom in his possession.
6 weeks later, he was dead. Kratom, the same substance that got him arrested, the same substance that has been described as gas station heroin by addiction specialists, was not listed in the official cause of death. But the fact that it was in his possession in large quantities just weeks before he died tells you something about the environment he was living in. A world of legal and illegal substances, prescription and non-prescription, all blurring together around a man in serious physical and emotional pain. Kratom works on the same brain receptors as opioids. Regular use can lead to dependence, withdrawal, and, critically, a dramatically lowered inhibition towards seeking stronger substances to fill that same need. Is it possible that Brandon Clarke's months-long involvement with kratom created a path toward harder drugs? Is it possible that the heroin and cocaine found in his system that May evening were part of a deeper spiral that started with those legally purchased capsules from a smoke shop in Tennessee? That question does not have a confirmed answer yet, but it is a question every person who cares about this story needs to sit with. The full autopsy report is still coming. When it does, it may paint an even more complete picture of what Brandon Clarke was carrying in those final weeks of his life. The legacy he leaves behind. Clarke spent his entire 7-year NBA career with the Grizzlies. He never wore another jersey. He never played for another city. Memphis was his, and he was Memphis. He was tied with Ja Morant as the longest tenured member of the team's roster, having spent 7 seasons in Memphis. He was the kid nobody wanted out of high school, the player who walked on at San Jose State, the late transfer who dominated at Gonzaga, the 21st pick who became a Summer League MVP, an all-rookie team selection, and a fan favorite in Tennessee. He earned everything the hard way, and what he had earned was already extraordinary before the injuries took over. But the man who lives in the memory of everyone who knew him is not the stat line. It is the smile. Jalen Wells said he still came in with a smile on his face and was a light in the locker room. Truly an inspiring person. His own words back in 2022, when he put his name on that $52 million extension, capture it better than any tribute could. He sat at a table with a Grizzlies jersey on and said, "Very grateful to even be here, to be drafted here, to be given the chance to do this. This is my dream." This was his dream, and it was, for a long time, everything he had imagined it would be. Officials ruled the manner of death accidental.
Incredibly sad news. Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke has died.
That ruling matters. It means the people who loved Brandon Clarke can know that he did not choose to leave. He did not walk away. He lost control of something that too many people in this country, athletes and non-athletes alike, are losing control of every single day. And maybe, in that recognition, there is something useful, something that helps someone else. Brandon Clarke, born September 19th, 1996, died May 11th, 2026, 29 years old, gone way too soon. Which part of Brandon Clarke's story hit you the hardest? His rise from the kid no college wanted, the injuries that robbed him of his prime, or the truth the medical examiner finally revealed? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And before you leave, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hoops Rivals so you don't miss the next ones.